Hey everybody, I am here this weekend. I've got the new 2025 Lincoln Aviator. This is a mid-cycle update on the Aviator, so it's not all new. This current generation of Aviator launched in 2019. It's based on the same architecture as the Ford Explorer, and both the Explorer and Aviator getting mid-cycle updates this year. We already drove the Explorer a couple of weeks ago. This is the Aviator. Rather than doing a regular drive program, Lincoln's just loaning them out for 2-3 day loans. So I've got this for the weekend. Let's take a look at what has changed on the Aviator. So fundamentally, the Aviator has not changed very dramatically for 2025. As I said, it's a mid-cycle update. So the biggest exterior changes you're going to notice are this new front fascia, new grille. So this is a little bit larger grille, similar in style to what we've seen on the Corsair update and also on the new Nautilus that launched a few months ago. And it's the same look that Lincoln started applying on their models in China about a year and a half or so ago, starting with the Zephyr sedan, which is a China-only model, which we don't get, unfortunately. But the rest of the sheet metal basically unchanged from what we got in 2019. Still a sharp-looking SUV, 3-row, upper mid-size, not quite full size, but larger crossover. So with the same kind of Lincoln design language that we've been seeing for several years now, the sort of floating roof look here with the blacked out pillars all the way around the B, C, and D pillars, and of course, like the Navigator, like the Nautilus and the Corsair, a little bit of downward taper in the roof line, but fundamentally the same look that we've had for about 5 years now. And of course, you can see we've got the Aviator badge on the front fender, just as we have on all the other current generation Lincoln models. Also some tweaks to the back end, to the lighting design, but still same basic shape. So no real big sheet metal changes other than the lights and the grille. The more pronounced changes to the Aviator for 2025 are in the interior. Not too dramatic. Biggest change is the adoption of this larger 13.2-inch center touchscreen display, which features the new Lincoln/Ford digital experience, which I'll get into in more detail in a minute. But the rest of the interior, again, still largely the same as what we've had. We've got the piano key shift buttons here, and some nice natural wood trim all around, and combination of metal. And as we've had with Lincolns now since about the mid-2010s, they're still based on the same platforms as their Ford counterparts, but pretty much everything you see and touch on the exterior and the interior is completely different. One other change for the Aviator for 2025 is they have discontinued the Grand Touring model, which was the plug-in hybrid. That one, unfortunately, never really sold very well. That was the highest performing Lincoln. It had a range of about 22 miles on a charge. That's gone, and they're only doing the 4-liter twin turbo EcoBoost V6, although Lincoln doesn't use the EcoBoost branding. The third row still reasonably spacious, just as it is in the Explorer. Not the most spacious in the segment, but pretty good. It's not quite as good as something like the Lexus TX, but it'll do. So the biggest change to the Aviator for model year 2025, as I mentioned, is the larger center touchscreen here, down from a 10-inch to a 13-inch display. And this now features the new Ford digital experience, or Lincoln digital experience. This is Ford and Lincoln's new generation infotainment system. Let's turn that off. And this is based on Android Automotive with Google Automotive Services. So this is the direction a lot of automakers are going. Volvo and Polestar were the first to do this, to adopt Android Automotive as their infotainment system. GM followed. Honda, Nissan, Acura are doing it now. Over the last couple of years, they've all launched similar systems. This uses basically the same Android operating system that is available on several billion phones and other devices around the world, uh, along with Google services like the Google Play Store, Google Assistant, Google Maps, and that allows you to download apps directly to the device. Um, in most cases, most automakers are using this and keeping support for Apple CarPlay and Android Automotive, or Android Auto, which is different from Android Automotive. These are smartphone projection systems that allow you to project apps that are running on your phone onto the car screen. So you can still do that. GM on their new EVs, on their Ultium EVs, has decided to remove the projection support, so you don't have CarPlay and Android Auto anymore. Ford is keeping that. So you can see we've got the Apple CarPlay and Android Auto icons on here. So you can launch those. Pretty straightforward. Just works the same as it has since 2014, 15, when automakers started adopting those projection systems. And Ford has said that they have no plans to eliminate that support, although we'll see, depending on how the response is on GM's EVs from customers. We may see automakers start to get away from that. So as you get into one of these vehicles for the first time, and this is the first two Ford and Lincoln vehicles to get this are the Explorer and the Aviator, and it'll be rolling out to other Ford and Lincoln vehicles over the next couple of years. I think there's a new generation Navigator that's going to be launched in the coming months. Actually, sorry, I forgot, the Nautilus also has this, although the Nautilus has a completely different screen layout. It has that coast-to-coast screen layout. They haven't done that here on the Aviator because this is a mid-cycle update. That's a pretty fundamental architectural change. And so next generation, we may see Lincoln adopt that for the Aviator. But right now, the Nautilus also has the same software, but it's laid out differently. And one of the things that Google lets automakers do when they're using Android Automotive, they can put their own screen, their own overall interface on it, and just use that operating system. Most of them end up looking fairly similar. Volvo and Polestar are a little bit different. They use kind of a quadrant system, but in general, they largely end up looking like this. You know, there's a page full of all the various apps that are available or that you have loaded. If you want to load more apps, you can go into the Play Store, the Google Play Store, where there's all kinds of apps that are available that are approved for running in the vehicle, and that number of apps is increasing. So there are some apps that you can use while parked, such as Amazon Prime Video, Peacock, a bunch of media streaming apps. You also have some games like Beach Buggy Racing, Basketball Fever. There's at least one browser so far, the Vivaldi browser. I think there's going to be a version of the Chrome browser coming soon as well. Angry Birds. So you got a bunch of games and other entertainment things that you can use. These are restricted to only using while the vehicle's in park. So if you're waiting to pick up your kids or whatever, you can use some of these. Or if you're at some point in the future when you have an EV, if you're sitting waiting to charge, you can also use those types of apps. There's also you have your choice of navigation apps. For example, if you're a Waze fan, you can download and install Waze on here as an alternative to Google Maps. There's also a better route planner. Again, that's an EV related app, but there's also things like YouTube Music, my weather radar, and then there's again for EVs, you've got a couple of EV find charging apps, ChargePoint, but there's also gas apps for fuel. So there's a Texaco app. You can pay for fuel, you can pay for parking with these apps on your vehicle, and then various streaming apps like our iHeartMusic, TuneIn Radio, Pocket Casts for listening to podcasts. So there's a lot of stuff, and the nice thing about it is all of this stuff is running natively, so you don't have to worry about your phone getting disconnected, which a lot of vehicles and a lot of phones, that the projection system can be a little flaky. I know in my wife's car, we've had problems with that, with it losing connection to the phone on a regular basis. So this, having it running natively can be handy. And when you log in, when you first get in the vehicle, you can sign into your Google account. And so if some of these apps are paid for apps like Pocket Casts, for example, or Amazon Prime Video, you can log in, download these, install them on the vehicle, and run them and use your same account. So Pocket Casts, for example, will sync the podcasts I'm listening to on my phone or on my computer here in the car, and it updates, and picks up from the same place where I'm listening in the same show, which is nice and handy. Similarly, if you want to use Spotify, Apple Music, or Amazon Music, Audible for audiobooks. There's also a Libby app to download the audiobooks from your public library, from your local public library. If your library has support for Libby, that's really handy because you can get audiobooks for free. And then the main interface is this sort of tile interface where the default is having maps, having whatever media is playing here. You can still connect your phone via Bluetooth and use that even if you're using the built-in apps, and using the you can use that to make calls and do messaging from your phone. And then I haven't set up a profile on here because I only got it for the weekend, but you can set up your profile and have multiple profiles for different users in the house. So if you and your partner or kids are all sharing the vehicle, each one can have their own profile. And when you create that profile, each one can have its own Google account linked to it. You can have all your settings like your seat and mirror positions all set up. So and those can also be linked to a particular key fob, or use your phone as a key, a digital key system with your phone. And those can all be linked. So when you get in the car, it recognizes who's getting into the driver's seat and sets everything accordingly. So that's really handy. And then back to the main screen here, if you want to have just full screen map view, you can have that. And shows you the map view. What else here? Going back, and then you can also go full screen on your media player, whatever media you're listening to. So all really handy. The updated system also includes a 5G radio, which is nice. So you get faster downloads. In the past, most of the previous vehicles I've driven that have Android Automotive still have 4G LTE radios, data modems in them, which means sometimes when you're downloading the apps, it can take a little while. Obviously, a lot slower than a 5G setup. So this is useful. And then in here, you can go into the settings. You can set up various things like your ambient lighting settings, valet mode, get your vehicle status, set your seats. There's heated and massaging seats in this car. And then, as I mentioned, among the things you can do is you can play games. So I've downloaded the Beach Buggy Racing game. And you can also pair your game controllers, and it works with multiple styles of game controllers. This is a PS4 controller, but you can also use it with an Xbox controller or any other wireless controller. And I think you can also do it with a USB controller as well. You can plug it into a USB port. So you can use the controller, go one player, and when you get into, again, this only works when you're in park. So if the vehicle's in drive or reverse, you will not be able to see this. And this is kind of like a Mario Kart style game. Mario Kart, I should say. So it's a way to kill some time. Let's see. Get out of here. And you can also, as I mentioned, you can watch videos. So you get YouTube, you get Prime Video. So let's see what we got here. In addition to playing games, I mentioned you can also watch videos while the vehicle's parked. As soon as you put it into drive or reverse, that disables. But you know, for example, I've got Amazon Prime Video set up on here, and here's a trailer for the new Batman Caped Crusader animated series.
This whole city's gone to hell in a handbasket.
Very nice screen. Great audio system in this car, the Revel audio system. Sounds really good. Although you won't be able to tell that on this video. So overall, you know, nice update to the Aviator. Still fundamentally the same vehicle it has been since 2019, which is not a bad thing. You know, it still drives the same. You now have the addition of hands-free BlueCruise driving assist for driving, going hands-off on divided highways. That's one of the major technical changes along with the discontinuation of the plug-in hybrid Grand Touring model. But other than that, it's still a really nice large three-row SUV. Very comfortable, very quiet to drive, and still a pretty solid competitor in this segment. So thanks for watching, and we'll be back again soon.